Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another video. I don't usually do these videos, it's the first one I've ever done. It's going to be a player ratings video for yesterday's 0-0 draw against Liverpool in the Merseyside derby. Everton returned to football after 3 months out and returned with a goalless draw at Goodison Park against Liverpool in what was, listen, a pretty decent result for Everton. It wasn't the best of games, but Carlo Ancelotti tactically got it absolutely spot on. It was a perfect tactical performance by Carlo Ancelotti. We nullified Liverpool's strengths and we hit them on the break. We were very, very unlucky to not win the game. Ultimately, in the end of it, you know, Tom Davies hitting the post, Richarlison having a couple of decent chances as well. Somebody commented on the instant match reaction saying you should sit down and do a player ratings video. It'd be interesting to hear your thoughts on each individual player's performance. So I thought, you know what, I'll do them now consistently. I'll probably be doing them after the instant match reaction, so they won't be in this setting. You won't be seeing me sat on the couch. You'll see me on the desk as usual, like with the instant match reactions. But it's the morning after the Merseyside derby. I've had a little bit of a time to think and reflect on yesterday's performance, so I thought, you know what, I'll sit down, I'll do a player ratings video just before the live game review later today, and we'll go through each player's performance yesterday. So starting with Jordan Pickford, I'm going to give Jordan Pickford a 7 out of 10. I thought he had a decent performance. Listen, he didn't have an awful lot to do. Liverpool didn't have many clear-cut opportunities, but everything he had to do, he done really, really well. He had a couple of free kicks in dangerous areas that were gifted to them by Mike Dean, and he done well to tip them over the bar or just move them past the post. And he also had an opportunity here and there where, you know, he had to come out and collect the ball or he had to punch from a corner. Very, very clinical at set pieces, Liverpool. So when the ball was coming into the box, I thought Jordan Pickford done really, really well to get it out. Probably a little bit harsh to score, but I just don't think he had an awful lot to do to warrant him getting higher than a 7, but everything he had to do, he done really, really well. Moving on then to right back Seamus Coleman. I've given Seamus a 10 out of 10. I thought it was an absolutely fantastic performance by Seamus Coleman. It was the type of Seamus Coleman performance that we've come to get used to over the years and we haven't seen for a very, very long time. It was the type of Seamus Coleman performance that you'd see week in, week out in 2013-14. He rolled back the years. He was absolutely fantastic yesterday. I think he was the only player in the squad that played in the last Merseyside derby that Everton won 10 years ago at Goodison Park. And he was absolutely unbelievable. He nullified Sadio Mane for the entire game. He didn't give him any opportunities. He kept up with him pace-wise as well. He kept alongside him. He put in some really, really good challenges. He used the ball well. His passing was fantastic. So 10 out of 10 performance from Seamus Coleman for me. Led by example with the captain's armband as well. And he proved that, you know, when he's fit and when he's got the stamina and when he's got the fitness, he still is a very, very good right back. And again, I cannot fault Seamus's performance from yesterday. Moving on then to the first centre-half, Michael Keane. I've given Michael Keane a 7 out of 10. Again, similar to Jordan Pickford, didn't really have an awful lot to do. You know, he nullified Roberto Firmino's game really, really well. He nullified Minamino's game as well. But again, he made a couple of mistakes here and there in regards to his passing. It wasn't perfect, but ultimately it didn't end in any error. It didn't end in a goal conceded, so I can't really fault him too much on that. He had a decent game. He was solid. We didn't concede, obviously, and defensively I thought we were really, really good yesterday. So I've given Michael Keane a 7 out of 10. Mason Holgate, I've gone for an 8. Again, a little bit better than Michael Keane. I thought his passing was a little bit sharper. I thought his movement was a little bit sharper on the ball. But again, didn't have an awful lot to do throughout the game, but he done exactly what he needed to do really, really well. He used his strength. He used his body, and you can see the confidence oozing out of Mason Holgate. He's a player that plays with real confidence, and you can see that every time he gets the ball, every time he moves forward, every time he brings the ball out. You can see how confident he is and how fantastic he is on the ball, and I think again that showed yesterday. Really solid performance by Mason. I've gone for an 8 out of 10 from him. Moving on then to left back Luca Dean. I've gone for a 9 out of 10 for Luca Dean. Again, I thought he was fantastic. Probably didn't have as good a game as Seamus Coleman, but very, very, very close. You know, he used the ball well. He defended really, really well as well, I thought. He got forward when he needed to do. There was a couple of opportunities where his passing was a little bit off, but you know, they've been out for 3 months and it's to be expected. But again, he really, really nullified that right hand side of Liverpool. He didn't allow them any space. He didn't allow them any movement. He was getting involved. He brought the ball out well. He defended really, really well, and he broke forward when he needed to as well. And he was helped, you know, massively by the you know, the midfield, the wingers, etc. So I've gone for a 9 out of 10 for Luca Dean. Thought he had a good game, good defensive game as well. But probably, you know, just not at that Seamus Coleman level, but very, very close to him. Moving on into the midfield then, we'll go for the centre midfielders first. I've gone for Tom Davies. I've gone for an 8 out of 10 for Tom. Listen, I personally didn't think Tom Davies started the game very well. There was a lot of people on the instant match reaction who thought that Tom Davies had a really, really good game throughout it. I didn't think he started it fantastically. I thought he looked a little bit off the pace. I thought he looked a little bit lost at times. But ultimately, he grew into the game as it moved on. He grew into the game into the second half. He started to get his foot on the ball. He started to move the ball forward. He started to use his vision. He started to use his passing. And ultimately, he come the closest to giving Everton the victory, hitting the post obviously, Dominic CalvertLewin with a really, really clever flick, and Tom Davies coming onto it. And you know what, in hindsight, when you watch the replay of the chance and when you watch the opportunity again, you're sort of sitting there thinking, just smash it, just put your foot through it, don't try and place it there. But ultimately, you know, I understand what Tom's trying to do there. There's a defender and a goalkeeper on his right hand side, and you know, technically he's very, very clever to think I'm going to go to the left hand side, and Joe Gomez actually puts a really good block. And if you haven't seen it again, the opportunity is actually blocked by Joe Gomez. It comes off him, deflects off him, and hits the post, and it's very, very unlucky. And I'd have absolutely loved Tom to have got that moment. So I've gone for an 8 out of 10 for Tom Davies. Like I said, I think he grew into the game a little bit more, and after that chance, for the last sort of 10 to 15 minutes of the game, you could see he was confident, you could see he wanted it, you could see he was moving forward, and he was playing with that confidence that, you know, we seen Tom Davies play when he first broke into the first team, and we know that he is a good player when he has that confidence. So I've gone for an 8 out of 10 for Tom Davies. Next up then, Andre Gomes. I've gone for a 7 out of 10 for Andre Gomes. Again, I think he had a decent game, solid game. On the ball, he's very, very good. He always is very, very good on the ball, Andre Gomes. He very rarely puts in a poor performance in regards to when he's got the ball at his feet. Again, he's not the type of midfielder that you'd expect to run round an awful lot. He's not the type of midfielder that you'd expect to get about the pitch constantly. But when he's got the ball, he's a very silky, very quality midfielder. And I think he used it well. He used his weight well. He used his body well at times. He didn't have his best of games in an Everton shirt, but I think we have to remember that Andre Gomes isn't only a player coming back from a 3-month break due to what's going on in the world at the moment, but he's also a player that prior to that break was coming back from a long time on the sidelines due to a really bad injury with his obviously with his leg that occurred in the Spurs game. So given the circumstance, I think he had a decent game. I've gone for a 7 out of 10 for Andre Gomes. Again, there's still worries about his fitness for me. I still think he doesn't quite look as fit as maybe he was prior to that injury, which, you know, might be expected. Obviously, you know, not many players come back and look as fit as they did before they got such a bad injury. But again, a decent performance from him, above average definitely, but it wasn't the best performance I've seen Andre Gomes put in an Everton shirt. Onto the wingers then, Anthony Gordon. I've gone for a 7 out of 10 for Anthony Gordon. I think it was a really impressive performance on his Premier League debut for Everton. And obviously Ancelotti putting him in from the start, giving him the start in the Merseyside derby. First Premier League game, first Merseyside derby. And I thought he played really well. It was a disciplined performance by Anthony Gordon. He used the ball well. He wasn't in the game an awful lot, and I don't think he was in the game because of how deep we sat at certain times. I think we, you know, when Liverpool had the ball, we sort of moved back a little bit, and we kept our shape fantastically. Don't get me wrong, tactically it was a spot on performance by Carlo Ancelotti, which we'll talk about in just a second. But I think in doing that sort of isolated Anthony Gordon and Alex Iwobi at times on the wings, and didn't really get into the game an awful lot. Obviously Anthony Gordon ended up coming off into the second half, but ultimately I thought it was a very disciplined performance by him. On the ball, you know, he looked really good. He used it well. He grew into the game. You could see that there was a couple of times when he maybe got a little bit lost with the ball, but ultimately, I think overall it was a decent performance by Gordon. I'm giving him a 7 out of 10. Really disciplined, and hopefully we get to see more of him in the next coming weeks. Alex Iwobi then on the other side. I'm going for a 6 out of 10 for Iwobi. I did put 5 out of 10 down originally, but then I felt a little bit harsh, so I'm going to give him a 6. Listen, he didn't have a great game, did he? He didn't. Again, I think a little bit of that was to do with the fact that we sat a little bit too deep at times in the game, and we didn't allow him and Anthony Gordon to get involved as much as we probably would have liked to. I personally just don't think Alex Iwobi is a winger. I really don't want to see Alex Iwobi on the wing. I think he's a centre midfielder. I think his best position is in centre midfield. I think he uses the ball best in centre midfield, and he can pick the ball up there, and he can move with it, he can run, he can break forward, he can create opportunities. And when he's on the wing, I just think he gets lost, and that's exactly what we seen yesterday. We seen an Alex Iwobi who didn't really pick the ball up many a times. His passing wasn't great, his movement wasn't great, he wasn't first to every ball. He looked like he was wandering down a little bit, and you know, for that, I think ultimately his performance wasn't great. And again, I'm not going to write the kid off completely, because I still don't think he's being played in his best position, but yesterday wasn't a great performance from Alex Iwobi, so I've gone for a 6 out of 10 for him. On to the strikers then. Dominic CalvertLewin first, 9 out of 10 for Dom. I think he was absolutely fantastic, and some of you might be sitting there thinking, how can you give a striker a 9 out of 10, you know, when he hasn't scored and he hasn't really been involved? But Dominic Calvert-Lewin's work rate for me is absolutely second to none. From the first minute to the last minute, he runs around, he gets himself involved, he uses his physicality. Dominic Calvert-Lewin even admitted in his post-game interview that he wasn't at the top of his game, he wasn't as physical as he'd like to be, he didn't win as many aerial duels as he'd like to win, but he was still getting himself about, he was still using his movement, he was still using his strength, he created a couple of opportunities for himself. He put Richarlison through with an absolutely fantastic through ball, which Richarlison should have done better with ultimately. Obviously, he come very, very close with the clever back heel in the last sort of 5 or 10 minutes, you know, just before Tom Davies hit the post. But ultimately, I think Dom's performance yesterday was fantastic. He got himself about, he used his movement, and he proved that he doesn't always have to score to have a good game, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. If he works hard, if he gets his head down, if he uses his movements, if he uses his strength, he can have a really, really good game, you know, even if he doesn't score. And I think yesterday he was fantastic. Richarlison then next to him, I've gone for a 9 out of 10 for Richarlison. Again, very similar to Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He used his energy, he used his pace, he worked hard from the first minute to the last minute. He won us a couple of really, really important fouls, and ultimately he had 2 very, very good opportunities. And yes, okay, you know, we're sitting here and he should have done better with them, let's be perfectly honest. He should have. Certainly the one where Dominic Calvert-Lewin puts him through, and he sort of got Van Dijk next to him and he's one-on-one with Alisson, and he blasts it. For me, I think if he takes another touch there, he either gets himself in a better position to score, or he leaves Van Dijk with only one option, and that's to bring him down, and ultimately then we win a penalty, and again, we're in a better situation to score. But I think Richarlison sort of seen the headlines a little bit and wanted to hit it first time on the volley, and I don't blame him for that. Again, another opportunity where he gets the ball on the wing, he absolutely embarrasses Dejan Lovren, tears him to pieces, gets in a good position, and you know, he has an opportunity to square it to Alex Iwobi, who has a pretty simple finish into the back of the net, but he doesn't. He goes for the shot from an acute angle, and ultimately Liverpool get rid of it. And there was a lot of Evertonians that were a little bit frustrated at that, saying that, you know, he should have passed it, he should have used his vision a little bit better. But you know what? I can't really criticise Richarlison an awful lot for wanting to go for the shot, for wanting to get on the score sheet, for having that hunger, for having that desire. Yes, ultimately you sit here and you think the better option might have been Alex Iwobi and to square it, but there's no guarantee that Alex Iwobi would put the ball in the back of the net. And like I said, I don't really hold much against players that have got that hunger and that want to get on the score sheet and that want to score goals and that ultimately try and take every opportunity that they possibly can. So for me, I've gone for a 9 out of 10 for Richarlison. Again, got himself about, created a couple of opportunities, really, really good one within the first 15 minutes of the game as well. And I think a little bit like Dominic Calvert-Lewin said in his post-game interview, he was a little bit sharper. If he had a couple of games under the belt, I think we'd have done an awful lot better with those opportunities that we were given. Onto the bench then, I've gone for a 6 for Bernard. I don't think he done an awful lot when he come on. He got the ball a couple of times, he pushed up with the game forward, which is what he was brought on to do. Ultimately, like I said, he didn't have many opportunities to do much, so I've gone for a 6 for Bernard. I've gone for a 7 for Gylfi Sigurdsson. I thought Gylfi Sigurdsson impressed me, you know, when he come on. He really, really did. He come on. It was a disciplined performance by him. He used the ball well. He got himself about. He threw a tackle in. He pushed the ball forward. He won the ball back. Again, Gylfi come on the left-hand side of the midfield, and I thought, you know what? He's not a winger. He's really, really not a winger. He shouldn't be coming on there. He's got no pace. He's got no energy. He can't play that position. But he surprised me. He really, really did surprise me. He was only on for 5 or 10 minutes of the game, but when he come on, like I said, he was disciplined, he used the ball well, he got the ball forward, he put in a couple of challenges, and ultimately he broke the game down, which is what he was put on to do. So I've gone for a 7 out of 10 for Gylfi Sigurdsson. Quite impressed by his performance yesterday. Moise Kean, I haven't marked. Listen, 10 out of 10 for Moise Kean. He didn't really do much, did he? He come on for the last, 5 minutes. I don't even know if he touched the ball in the game, I can't remember. But I haven't marked him, but if he's going to get a mark, 10 out of 10 for just being boss. And Carlo Ancelotti, I've gone for a 10 out of 10 for Carlo Ancelotti. Fantastic tactical performance. Like I said, we nullified Liverpool's strengths, and our game plan from the start was to nullify their big players, your Manes, your Alexander-Arnolds, and ultimately to break them and to, you know, hit them on the break and use the opportunities that we got. And we did. We created 3 or 4 very, very good opportunities for ourselves, and ultimately we sit here, you know, couple of hours later, or a few hours later, 12 hours later, disappointed to not win the game, disappointed to not take those opportunities, certainly the Tom Davies one where we hit the post, but ultimately, you know, a Merseyside derby, first game back in 3 months, you have to be happy with the result really, and again, we now move on to Norwich and hopefully we can get a big win there, but I've gone for a 10 out of 10 for Carlo Ancelotti. If you're interested in hearing more about my thoughts on the tactical performance, then we'll be live a little bit later on with the live game review, and we'll be talking everything about yesterday's game. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's video. Let me know what you think of these player ratings videos. If you have enjoyed, please do hit that like button. It does only take a second. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. It only takes a second. We've got loads of content coming out over the next couple of days and weeks with all of the football back. We'll have previews, reviews, instant match reactions, player ratings if you enjoyed them after every single game. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're new. We're flying towards the 2,000 subscriber mark now. If we could hit it within the next couple of months, it would mean an absolute massive amount to me. Leave a like on the video if you have enjoyed, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new, like I said. Big thanks for watching. We'll be live later on with a live game review of yesterday's 0-0 draw against Liverpool. So if you've enjoyed this video and you want to come and join us live, get involved in the live comments. We'll be interactive and getting involved with everybody as well. Big thanks for watching. Please leave a like if you've enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.